Lesson number 23, Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 172 to 176. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihi al-kareem. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم لك الحمد كما هديتنا للإسلام وعلمتنا الحكمة والقرآن وصلوات الله وسلامه على خاتم النبيين وإمام المرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين اللهم اجعلنا ممن اتبع القرآن فساقه وقاده إلى الجنة ولا تجعلنا ممن اتبع القرآن فزخ في قفاه إلى النار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار. How are you all? I hope you are all doing well. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps you all in His protection. May He grant blessings in your time, knowledge, actions, health and life. May Allah make you learn, understand and practice the Quran in the best way. May He grant you perseverance on the religion and make it easy for you to convey to others. Ameen. Today's lesson, our lesson starts from lesson number 23 and it's from verse 172 to 176. We will start with word-to-word translation and after the words will be explained according to the grammar, then inshallah there will be tafseer. Ya ayyuha, O you, alladhina, those who, amanu, they believed, kulu, you all eat, min, from, tayyibati, clean, pure, ma, of what, razaqnakum, we gave rizq, provided sustenance for you all, wa, and, ushkuru, you all thank, be grateful, lillahi, for Allah, in, if, kuntum, you all were, are, iyyahu, only him, ta'buduna, you all worship, obey, serve, Innama, indeed not but, harrama, he made haram, unlawful or prohibited, alaykum, upon you all, al-maytata, the carrion or dead, wa an, ad-dama, the blood, wa an, lahma, meat, al-khinziri, of the swine, wa an, ma, whatever, uhilla, it was called loudly, bihi, with it, lighayri, for other than Allah. Faman, then whoever, udurra, he was forced or compelled, ghayra, as not, baghin, of one transgressing, wa and, la, not, adin, of one returning or doing habitually, fala, so not, ithma, any sin, alayhi, is upon him, inna, indeed, Allah, ghafurun, is most forgiving, rahimun, and one always all merciful, indeed, alladhina, those who, yaktumuna, they hide or conceal, ma, whatever, anzal, he revealed or sent down, Allah, min, from, al-kitabi, the book, wa an, yashturuna, they barter, sell or buy, bihi, with it, thamanan, a small price, qalilan, very little, ulaika, those, ma, not, yakuluna, they eat, fi, in, butunihim, their bellies or abdomen, illa, except, an-nar, the hellfire, wa, and, la, no, yukallimuhum, he will talk with them, Allah, yawma, on day, al-qiyamah, of the qiyamah, standing for Allah, wa, and, la, no, yuzakkihim, he purifies or will purify them, wa, and, lahum, is for them, adabun, a torment or punishment, alimun, one painful, ulaika, those, alladhina, are those who, ishtaraw, they bartered or purchased, al-dalalah, the strain, misguiding, misguidance, بالهدى with instead of the guidance, and العذاب the torment, punishment, بالمغفرة with instead of the forgiveness, فما so what, أصبرهم sabr, fortitude, patience or endurance, and hum is they or have, على upon, النار the hellfire, ذلك that, بأن is because indeed Allah نزل he gradually sent down or revealed الكتاب the book بالحق with the truth, haq or reality, and inna indeed الذين those who اختلفوا they differed with each other في in الكتاب the book لفي surely in شقاق discord, dispute or opposition, بعيد one far. Grammatical analysis. Ya ayyuha, O you, it is a subject mubtada. Ya is a calling particle, harf nida. Ayyuha, when al comes with alladhina, then ya comes with ayyuha. It is also masculine mudhakkar. Alladhina, those who, it is relative noun, third person masculine. Is mawsul wahid mudhakkar. Amanu, they believed. It is past tense, fi'l madi, third person masculine plural. Jama mudhakkar ghaib. Root words are hamza, mim, noon. Kulu, you all eat. Root words are hamza, kaf, lam. It is imperative verb, fi'l amr, second person masculine plural. Jama mudhakkar hadir. Min, from. It is preposition, huruf jar. Tayyibati, clean, pure. To, ya, ba are the root words. It is genitive with nouns majroor. Ma, of what? It is relative noun, is mawsul. Razaqnakum, we provided sustenance you all. Razaqa for the root words. Razaqna is past tense, plural noun. Fi'l madi, jama is. Kum is second person, masculine plural pronoun. Jama mudhakkar hadir dhamir. Wa and conjunction harfi ad. Ushkuru, you all thank, be grateful. Shaka for all the root words. It is imperative verb, second person masculine plural, fi'l amr, jama mudhakkar hadir. Lillahi, to, for Allah. Li is a preposition, harfi jar. Allah, he is genitive majroor. In, if, it is conditional particle, harfi shart. Kuntum, you all, were, are. This is a defective verb, past, second person masculine plural. Fi'l nakis mazi, jama mudhakkar hadir. Iyuha, only him. It is third person masculine, singular, separate adjective. Wahid mudhakkar ghaib, munfasil. Munfasil is that pronoun that comes on its own. Ta'buduna, you all worship, obey, serve. Ain badal are the root words, present tense, second person masculine plural. It is fi'l mudari, jama mudhakkar hadir. Innama, indeed, not but. It is used as a swear, oath, in good faith, or as a qasam. Harrama, he made unlawful. Hair or mim are the root words. It is past tense, third person masculine, singular. Fi'l madi, wahid mudhakkar ghaib. It is from the door of specification, babul mansub. It is from the third verb of adjectives, thalathi mujarrad. Alaykum, upon you all. It is a preposition, huruf jar. Kum is a word after preposition. It is second person masculine, plural pronoun, which is jama mudhakkar hadir is. Al-maytata, the carrion, dead. Mim, waw, ta are the root words. It is a proper noun, al-alam, as it starts with alif lam. Wa and ad-dama, the blood. Dal, mim, waw are the root words. Walahma, and meat. Lam, ha, mim are the root words. It is what is possessed, mudaf. Al-khinziri, of the swine. Ha, noon, za, ra are the root words. It is an abstract quadrilateral, rubai, mujarrad. There are 4 letters in the root word. It is of the original letters. It is a possessor, mudaf ilayh. Wama, and whatever. Uhilla, it was called loudly. Ha, lam, lam are the root word. It is past tense, passive singular, masculine. Fi'l madhi, majhul, wahid mudhakkar. Bihi, with it. Be is the preposition, harf jar. He is a preposition. It is third person masculine, singular personal pronoun, which is wahid mudhakkar ghaib dhamir. لغيره, for other than. غين يا را are the root words. لي is a preposition, حرف جار. غيره is a word of a preposition and also possessed, which is حرف جار المضاف إليه. الله, Allah, it is a possessor, مضاف إليه. فمن, then whoever. fa is a conjunction, حرف عطف. Man, who, it is a relative noun and the conditional particle is موصول and حرف شرط. اضطر, he was forced or compelled. ضاد, را are the root words. It is a past tense verb, masculine singular. فعل ماضي واحد مذكر. It is a verb as Hamza has a kasra. غير باغٍ, as not one transgressing or coveting. باغٍ ya are the root words. غير is what is possessed. Mudaf, meaning of باغٍ is a possessor, which is mudaf ilayh. It is from the masdar infinitive. باغٍ, which is a doer, present masculine mudari mudhakkar. ولا, and no. La is for negation. La nafi. عاد, of one returning, doing habitually. Ain, dal, waw are the root words. It is from the infinitive masdar. عدٌ is an imperative masculine singular. فعل أمر واحد مذكر. فلا, so not. إثم, any sin. Hamza, tha, mim are the root word. Alayhi is upon him. Ala is the preposition, harf jar. He is the personal pronoun, dhamir. Inna, indeed, which is conditional particle verb. Fi'l harf shart. Allah, Allah. Ghafurun is most forgiving. Ghain, fa, ra are the root words, and it is from the infinitive, masdar. Ghufran is an exaggerated formula, which is mubalagha sigha. Rahimun, and one always all merciful. It is from the infinitive, masdar. Rahmatun, it is the exaggerated formula, which is mubalagha sigha. Inna alladhina, indeed those who. Yaktumuna, they hide. Kaf, ta, mim are the root words, which is present tense, third person masculine plural. Fi'l mudari, wahid mudhakkar ghaib. Khatama is the first stem of a word. Fi'l thalathi mujarrad. Ma, whatever. Anzala, he revealed. Noon, za, lam are the root words, past tense, third person masculine singular, which is fi'l madhi, wahid mudhakkar hadir. Anzala is third in derivative. Fi'l mazid. Zalazala is a quaternary noun, which is fourth noun. There are 4 letters in the root word of zalazala. Allahu, Allah. Min, from. This is a preposition, harfijar. Al-kitabi, the book. It is genitive, majroor, wa, and. Yashtaruna, they barter. Sheen, ya are the root words, which is present tense, third person masculine singular. Fi'l mudari wahid mudhakkar ghaib, and it is from the infinitive, masdar. Yashtari are the words. Ishtara and yashtari. Bihi, with it. Thamanan, a small price. Tha, mim, noon are the root words. It is an adverb, musuf. Qalilan, very little. Qaf, lam, lam are the root words. It is an adjective, sifth, from the infinitive, masdar. Qilatun is a similar adjective, which is sifa, mumatala. Ulaika, those. It is a demonstrative noun, that is fa, which is ishara ba'id. Ma, not, used for negation, ma of nafiya. Yakuluna, they eat. Hamza, kaf, lam are the root words. It is present tense, third person masculine plural, which is fi'l mudari, wahid, mudhakkar, ghaib. It is from the infinitive, akala. Yakulu is the word akalan. Fi, in, which is the preposition, harfijar. Butunihim, their bellies. Root words are ba, ta, noon. It is a genitive, majroor. And what is possessed, which is mudaf. Him is a personal pronoun, dhamir, and third person masculine singular, which is wahid mudhakkar ghaib. Illa, except, it is a word exception, which is al-mistathni. النار, the fire. Noon, wow, and ra are the root words. ولا, and no. يكلمهم, he will talk with them. Kaf, lam, mim are the root words. يكلم is present tense, which is third person masculine singular فعل مضارع واحد مذكر غائب. كلمة يكلم are from the infinitives. مصدر تكليم. كلمة is a third indistinctive. ثلاثي مجرد. It is from the door of verbs, باب الفعل. And who at the end is a personal pronoun, ضمير. Allahu, Allah. يوم, on day. It is what is possessed, مضاف. قيامتي, of the qiyamah, standing. Qaf, waw, mim are the root words. It is the possessor, مضاف إليه. ولا, and no. يزكيهم, he will purify them. Za, kaf, waw are the root words. Yuzaki is present tense, third person masculine singular. فعل مضارع واحد مذكر غائب. From the word zaka, yuzaki is the infinitive, masdar. Tazkiya meaning to purify. Him is a personal pronoun, dhamir. Walahum, and for them. Adabun, a torment. Ain, zal, ba are the root words. It is an adverb, musuf. Alimun, one painful. Hamza, lam, mim are the root words. It is an adjective, sift. From the infinitive, mustard, alamun. It is a conditional particle without a verb. So it's harfi shart, la fail. Ulaika, those. Alladhina, those who. Ishtarawu, they bartered. Sheen, ra, ya are the root words. It was initially ishtaraw. Wu with a dhamma is used for joining on to the next letter of the next word. It is past tense, third person masculine singular. فعل مضارع واحد مذكر غائب. The words ishtara, yashtari are from the infinitive, masdar. Ishtaron meaning to buy. الضلالة, the strain, misguidance. ضاد, lam are the root words. It is an infinitive, masdar. Bilhuda, with the guidance. Ha, dal, ya are the root words. Bi is a preposition. Al-huda is a noun, ism, and an infinitive, masdar. Wa, and. Al-adaba, the torment. Bil-maghfirati, with the forgiveness. Ghain, fa, ra are the root words. Bi is the preposition, harfi jar. Fama, so what. Fa is a conjunction, harfi atf. Ma is an interrogative question. Harf istifham, it is used for something of surprise. Asbarahum, patience, endurance, or fortitude. Sad, baro are the root words. The words asbara, sabarun are from an infinitive, which is masdar and is a comparative and superlative noun. A tafdeel, which means one who has patience. Hum is a personal pronoun, dhamir. Ala, upon. It is the preposition harfi jar. An-nari, the hellfire. Noon, wow, ra are the root words. It is a genitive, majroor. Zalika, that. It is a demonstrative noun, masculine singular. Is ishara wahid mudhakkar, and a word for pointing something far. Is ishara ba'id. Bi anna is because indeed. Bi is the preposition, harfi jar. Anna is a genitive, majroor, and a particle resembling word, which is harfi mushaba bil fail. Allah, Allah. Nazzala, he gradually sent down, revealed. Noon, zalam are the root words, which is past tense, third person masculine singular. Fi'l mudari, wahid mudhakkar ghaib. Al-kitaba, the book. Bil-haqqi, with the haqq, truth, reality. Bi is the preposition, harfi jar. Al-haqqi is a genitive, majroor. Wa, and. Inna, indeed. Alladhina, those who. Ikhtalafu, they differed with each other, which is past tense, third person masculine singular. Fi'l mudari wahid mudhakkar ghaib is from the words ikhtalafu, yakhtalifu. It is the infinitive masdar. اختلافا, meaning to differ. في الكتاب, in the book. لفي, surely in. لا is for confirmation. لا نافية, meaning is surely and certainly. في is a preposition, حرف جار. شقاق, discord or dispute. Sheen, qaf, qaf are the root words. It is a genitive majroor and an adverb mawsoof. Ba'idin, one far, it is an adjective, sift, from the infinitive masdar. Budun is a description, resembling word, is mutashaba, meaning is very far. Now let's listen to the recitation of today's verses.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل به لغير الله فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فلا إثم عليه إن الله غفور رحيم إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الكتاب ويشترون به ثمنا قليلا أولئك ما يأكلون في بطونهم إلا النار ولا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى والعذاب بالمغفرة فما أصبرهم على النار ذلك بأن الله نزل الكتاب بالحق وإن الذين اختلفوا في الكتاب لفي شقاق بعيد.
Tafseer. Our today's lesson number is 23 and verses are from 172 to 176. Come, let's review. In the first para, first of all, there was a recognition, an introduction about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then there was talk on Tawheed, oneness of God, Risalat, prophetic message, and Aqidah Akhirat, belief on the hereafter. After that, details related to commands were given. Thereafter, 3 types of people, their characteristics, signs, and their end results pertaining to the world and the hereafter were mentioned. Earlier, we discussed 2 parts of Surah Al-Baqarah with reference to the topics it included. In the first part, there are initial 18 rukus passages, which are in all 151 verses. In the first part, correction of Jews had been done, and there is an emphasis on Aqidah belief, whereas in the second part of Surah Al-Baqarah, which will be up till verse number 286. In this second part, the followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have been given instructions regarding pertaining to the different aspects of life and doing of good deeds has been emphasized, that they should do good deeds. In today's verse, there is emphasis on eating halal, lawful, tayyib, clean, for Muslims, that we gain strength from, and that we understand the fundamental difference between halal, lawful, and haram, unlawful. Haram, unlawful things have been described, specified. Then it has been said that Muslim, especially religious scholars, should not hide commands of Allah from people, and they shouldn't give such fatwas, religious orders, to people which they would like to receive, and by doing so, they shouldn't accept the benefits of this world from them, because this too is eating unlawful, haram. This is given precedence to misguidance over guidance. And if precedence is given to misguidance in this world, then what will happen in the hereafter? Torment over pardon? Meaning and tafseer of Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 172 to 176. Come, let's start our today's tafseer with verse number 172. Tafseer of verse number 172. Arabic verse. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. Translation: Believers, eat the clean things which we have provided you and give thanks to Allah if you worship only Him. Tafsir: It is being said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O people, those who have believed, كلوا من طيبات, you all eat from clean pure things. ما رزقناكم, that which we provided you with. واشكروا لله, and be grateful to Allah. إن كنتم إياه تعبدون, if it is indeed Him that you worship. Before this, in ayah number 168, common people were addressed. كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا. O mankind, eat from whatever is on earth, that is, which is lawful and good. Do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Then, in verse number 170, it was said, follow what Allah has revealed. If any of your parents, ancestors, or religious teachers, knowledgeable persons say anything against the revelation of Allah, then do not listen to them. Do not follow them, because doing so would be shirk, which is associating partners with Allah. Because mushrikeen, the polytheist, would dedicate animals to other than Allah. They would pierce the ears of animals and leave them in the name of their gods, and then they would say, now eating is lawful. And they would sacrifice some animals on the names of their gods and dedicate them to their names, saying they would now become happy with them. We are doing this to make them happy. In this way, they would make the lawful unlawful and the unlawful lawful. Even today, those associating others with God do business in the names of gods other than Allah, and increase in associating others with Allah to prosper their business. They make famous fabricated stories, scare people, taking names of their living priests, those in graves and deities. They say that respect them, otherwise you will be in trouble, you will be in torment. In verse number 172, people of faith are being told about the manners of eating food and the purpose of eating it, that just like man has been created with a purpose, similarly, each and everything in the universe has been created with a purpose. It is being said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم. O people, those who have believed, eat from good, which is lawful, things that which we provided you with, and what to do after eating them. وَاشْكُرُوا لِلَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ, and thank Allah and worship Him alone. That is, do not associate partners with Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling people with faith, Muslims, us, the first etiquette of eating, that eat that which is good and pure, clean, eat the halal, lawful and clean food without any hesitation. Do not make them haram, unlawful, because doing so is fabricating a lie upon Allah, blaspheming Allah. Dictionary meaning of tayyib is good, best quality, pleasant looking, pure, unlawful, proper, tasty and healthy, and it shouldn't be bad or rotten, and free of shirk and haram. Food purchased with unlawful haram wealth is also not halal. Similarly, a sugar patient who is advised by the doctor not to have sweet things, then sweet things are also not tayyib, good for him, meaning the food being eaten should also promote good health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept in the nature of mankind the eating of pure, good halal food, meaning it is in the nature of humans that he feels uneasy eating dogs, cats, rats, worms, meaning he can't even imagine eating those things. The second good manner, etiquette of eating food is washkuru lillahi, thank Allah. Eat halal, lawful and clean food after taking the name of Allah, after saying Bismillah, and we should be happy after eating food. We should say Alhamdulillah. All this is also thanking Allah. Come, let us learn about the Sunnah, Prophet's way of eating and drinking, because following them is also thanking Allah. So many times a person spends his entire life and he doesn't come to know about these Sunnahs. Either no one tells him, or else if someone tells him, he disregards it and doesn't consider it as important or doesn't give it any importance at all. The following are the Sunnah. Hands should be washed thoroughly. Sitting on the feet is traditional way of the Prophet. The food shouldn't be criticized. Food should be eaten in congregation. We should eat with our right hands. We should eat from what is in front of us in the plate. We shouldn't eat food that is too hot. We should stop eating before becoming full. We should eat with 3 fingers. We should clean the vessel properly and thoroughly. We should lick our fingers. If we forget to say Bismillah at the beginning or starting our food, then we should say Bismillah awwalahu wa akhirahu. Thankfulness should be from the heart too, that we should be obliged to Allah. We should give thanks to Allah, safeguard ourselves from disobedience of Allah. We should not associate partners with Allah. Our intention should be that we should obey Allah with using energy that we gain from this food. And we should say, I will worship Him. Thanks should be with the tongue too, like we said earlier, that we should recite the dua, invocation. And thanks should be with the organs too, and with our attitude too, which means that we shouldn't waste food, we shouldn't be extravagant, we shouldn't become proud, we should include others too in our food, we should feed the poor and hungry, and we should be thankful. What happens with that? Our bounties increase, our food becomes blessed. The third etiquette of eating food is In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun, which means if you consider Allah only one, then worship Him alone, which means do not follow the mushrik, those who associate others with God. They would eat from what Allah had given them. Of course, they believed in Allah too, but they would worship others too along with Allah. They would name cattle as Bahira, Wasila, and Ham and make them unlawful. Whereas the authority to declare something as halal or haram is with only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This authority was not even given to any prophet. Worship of a person who eats haram is not accepted, nor is his charity accepted, nor any supplication accepted. Such a person is deprived of the closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is negligent of the purpose of his life. He is deceived by shaitan and becomes lazy and dull. He doesn't learn the religion, nor does he prepare for akhirah. On the day of judgment, he'll be like the person who goes to an exam but without any preparation, without ever opening a single book. Similarly, if he never opened the Quran in his life, neither understood it nor acted according to it, then he will meet a similar fate. Actions of a person consuming haram or unlawful can never be correct. The polytheists used to worship their idols because they thought of them as their saviors and believed that they would intercede on their behalf in the hereafter. Whereas the one who consumes the lawful is blessed with bounty in his life. Only he is enabled to make the intention of using the strength derived from this food in the obedience and worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to learn and teach the deen of Allah, to do good deeds and encourage others to do the same as well, and to seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. Only such a believer can make this dua. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. A Muslim is the one who obeys Allah, who accepts the permissible from Allah as halal and the forbidden as haram, and worships according to the ways prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said, Man salla salatana, whoever prays like us, wastaqbala qiblatana, and faces our qibla, wa'kala dhabihatana, and eats our zabiha, slaughtered animals, فَذَلِكَ al-Muslim, he is a Muslim. Here we have been told that even after praying and facing in the direction of the Qibla, a person is not a believer until he follows the Sharia completely in the matters of eating and drinking. This is also a lesson for us that we have to ensure that the food and provision we are consuming are halal and tayyib, especially when we are in a non-Muslim country. Check the ingredients on packaging and know what is permissible so we do not end up eating something haram by mistake. Avoid eating anything that you are doubtful of, because haram not only affects our bodies, our souls, our worship, our morals and habits, rather it extends to generations. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to take care of this aspect. Ameen. Tafseer of verse number 173. Arabic verse. إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أحل به لغير الله فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فلا إثم عليه إن الله غفور رحيم. Translation. He has forbidden you to eat dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and that on which any name other than Allah has been invoked. But if someone is compelled by absolute necessity, intending neither to sin nor to transgress, they shall incur no sin. Surely Allah is forgiving, all merciful. Tafseer. It has been said that Allah has made dead meat, blood, and flesh of swine haram for us, also such an animal on which any name other than Allah has been invoked. But if a person is compelled by absolute necessity and ends up eating something from these, when his intention is neither to derive pleasure nor exceed his need, then he will not acquire any sin, because Allah is most forgiving and extremely merciful. The previous verse had commands about eating halal and pure, clean things, and now those four things are being discussed which the non-believers considered permissible. This is the reason why not all haram forbidden things are mentioned here. Other forbidden haram things are mentioned in various other verses. The four forbidden things in this verse are mentioned 4 times in the Quran. In verse 173 of Surah Al-Baqarah, then in verse 3 of Surah Al-Ma'idah, where the dead meat is defined in detail along with the other forbidden items. Dead meat is an otherwise halal animal, but it dies before being slaughtered either by suffocation or injuries, or it falls to its death, or it is pierced by another animal's horn or torn apart by other beasts. It is an animal where it wasn't slaughtered and drained of its blood, such as beheading it in one blow as Jews do. In this case, the blood doesn't drain out. Similarly, an animal that is electrocuted or shot down, in these cases, the blood doesn't completely drain out and the animal becomes stiff. Also, most of the germs are found in the blood, hence it is not good for health either. Third time these are mentioned in Surah Al-An'am, verse 144, and the fourth time in Surah Al-Nahl, verse 115. إنما حرم عليكم الميتة. Indeed, Allah has forbidden you to eat dead meat. Dead meat is an animal that dies before being slaughtered, according to the Sharia. In case of hunting, where it is difficult to get hold of the animal, the arrow or any sharp object is thrown at it after saying Bismillah, then this animal becomes permissible, even without slaughtering. Two things are exempt from slaughtering, which are fish and locust. Ibn Majah 3218 states that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, two dead meats are made permissible for us, fish and locust. Surah Ma'idah verse 96 states, أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ وَطُعَامُهُ. Translation: it has been made lawful for you to hunt from the sea and to eat seafood. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anh says that game of the sea is what is caught alive, and its food is whatever dead fish the sea throws out. But the dead fish that comes up to the surface and is rotting is not permissible. There are very few sea creatures that are not permissible to eat. For example, crocodile, frogs, snakes, seals, and anything that is harmful. Some sea creatures have sharp teeth or claws, and they tear apart their prey. They are vicious but still halal, such as sharks and whales. إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةَ وَالدَّمَ. He has forbidden you to eat dead meat and blood. The second thing forbidden after dead meat is blood. Example, flowing blood. Ibn Majah 3314 states that Prophet ﷺ said, two kinds of dead meat and two kinds of blood have been permitted to us. Dead meat being the fish and the locust, and the two types of blood being the liver and the spleen. Blood present in the meat, liver, spleen, and bone marrow is not forbidden. Blood, just like the other excrements, is something of aversion. Therefore, it is haram, forbidden. To consume it is forbidden, and to buy and sell it is also forbidden. All forms of its use and income generated from it are also prohibited. However, for the purpose of treatment and to save human lives, blood can be donated and transferred via IV. Consumption is still not allowed. وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ. The third thing that is prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the flesh of swine. Even before Islam, vicious animals such as dogs, cats, lions, and tigers were forbidden. It is in human nature to loathe the flesh of these animals. This is the reason that instead of listing all the haram animals, the Quran tells us about the halal animals such as sheep, goat, cow, buffaloes, lamb, and camels. These are the cattle that people keep and utilize their milk, meat, butter, etc. And some are used in the fields for ploughing. All of these are clean and permissible halal animals. After this, there is no need to mention the many haram animals because the halal have been clearly mentioned. Now, the question arises, why is the swine specifically mentioned? The reason for this is that non-Muslims used to keep it just like other pets, cattle, and consumed its meat. It is practiced in many countries even nowadays. After Islam came many people who were confused about its permissibility. Hence, the Quran clearly stated that flesh of swine is haram to eat. Out of all the animals, pigs are the most shameless and dirty by nature. It consumes meat as well. The food we eat has effects on our bodies, therefore it is haram. وَمَا أُحِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. And those animals on which any name other than Allah has been invoked are also haram. When a halal animal is slaughtered in the name of anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to please the false idols and gain their likings, then such an animal becomes haram. Or the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is invoked while slaughtering, but the purpose of slaughter is to gratify someone other than Allah or gain the pleasure of their false idols, then that is haram as well. Similarly, if an animal is slaughtered in the name of Allah, but it was dedicated to ghayr Allah, false idols, someone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it had its ears cut and left in the honor of a false idol, then this is haram as well. Similarly, if an animal is dedicated to a false idol, ghayrullah, and it is neither burdened or intended to be slaughtered, such as Bahira and Saiba, then this is also haram, due to the corruption of belief. The owner of the animal holds the belief that this animal doesn't belong to him anymore and is instead owned by the false idol. Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 3 states, وَمَا ذُبِحَ عَلَى النُّصُبِ, and that animal is also haram which is sacrificed, slaughtered on an-nusub, stone altars. If a non-Muslim, a non-believer, dedicates a cow or goat to its false idols and leaves it at the altar and gives the authority to the altar's custodians to sell this animal, then it is permissible for a Muslim to buy, slaughter, eat and sell this animal. Other than animals, sweets, and other food items that are dedicated as a sign of devotion and loyalty to false idols, or given out to visitors at shrines, or bought and sold, are also haram and fall under the command. وَمَا أُحِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. But if someone is compelled by absolute necessity, intending neither to sin nor to transgress, they shall incur no sin. Surely Allah is all forgiving and all merciful. Now we are told that if a person eats something out of these haram things due to absolute necessity, and his intention is to neither attain pleasure from eating this, nor does he go beyond need and eat more than what is required to sustain him, so there is no sin in it, and Allah is the most merciful. It is the beauty of our religion that if compelled, one can eat forbidden food to save his life, but there are 3 conditions for it. Number 1, one can eat haram only under duress to save life, or if there is a risk of death in the condition of illness and halal food is not available, then one can take haram food or medicine. Number 2, does not wish to break the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and has a desire to eat such food. Number 3, does not exceed the required limit, that is, takes only as many bites and sips as necessary to save life. Eat with compulsion and not to the heart's content. Then Allah is Ghafurur Rahim and He is forgiving. It is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in the state of duress or compulsion, one is permitted to eat haram. The life of a mu'min is very precious and his honor is greater than that of the Kaaba. In order to save life, one is even permitted to say kalma kufr, the words of blasphemy. Even though the Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anh never took advantage of this permission. Sometimes one has to overlook such leaves and stay steadfast. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all steadfastness on the religion and enable us to avoid all kinds of haram. Ameen. Tafseer of verse number 174. Arabic verse. إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الكتاب ويشترون به ثمنا قليلا أولئك ما يأكلون في بطونهم إلا النار ولا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. Translation. Surely those who conceal any part of the book which Allah has revealed and sell His revelation for a petty price, material gain, shall swallow nothing but fire into their bellies. On the day of resurrection, Allah will neither speak to them nor purify them, and they shall have painful punishment. Tafseer. This is a very severe verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had bestowed upon Bani Israel countless blessings. They were given preference over the rest of the world. They were chosen for prophethood, delivered from the enemy and saved from slavery of the Pharaoh. They were helped to cross the sea. The enemy was drowned before their eyes. Then they were given man or salva in the desert and shaded by the clouds. 12 springs gush for their 12 tribes. They repaid all these blessings with defying orders, showing arrogance, disobedience, and requesting all sorts of favors. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 59 states, فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا قَوْلًا غَيْرَ الَّذِي قِيلَ لَهُمْ. The transgressors changed the word of Allah from that which had been told to them for another. Their books had all the signs of the prophethood of the last prophet. They mentioned the last divine book and the final Qibla. They were experts in changing the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hiding the truth from the beginning. Verse 41 Surah Al-Baqarah states the same. It reminds Bani Israel to uphold the promises in Torah and to believe in the Quran. آمنوا بما أنزلت مصدقا لما معكم ولا تكونوا أول كافر به ولا تشتروا بآياتي ثمنا قليلا وإياي فاتقون. Translation: Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and believe in what I reveal, confirming the revelation in the Torah which is with you, and be not the first to reject faith therein, nor sell my signs for a small price, and fear me, and me alone. That is, don't fear the masses, and they will now not believe you or respect you, and that you will lose the benefits and income you receive from them. Verse 174 is stating the same. إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الكتاب ويشترون به ثمنا قليلا. Surely those who hear the people of the book are being addressed, especially the Jewish scholars. They conceal. What are they hiding? Any part of the book which Allah has revealed, and then they sell His revelations for a petty price for their material gain. When the Torah was revealed to the people of the book, they distorted it. They took bribes from the people and started issuing rulings of their choice. This was by giving the interpretations of people's choice, they gained material benefits. In this way, these unfortunate people sold their faith in return for worldly gains. They preferred the forbidden over permissible, bought misguidance for guidance. Therefore, the blessings from their lives were taken away. They were distanced from Allah's mercy and deprived of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help. People of the book were given deen, but they altered it and didn't act according to it. Now, they were given another chance in the form of the Quran and Hadith to affirm their faith in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and accept the teachings of the Quran and become Allah's favored again. Instead, they breached their promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hid the signs of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's prophethood for worldly gains. They became ulama su, that is, disgraceful scholars. They behaved this way because their hearts were filled with love of the world. This is the reason they overlooked the requirements of religion. When Islam came, the people went to Jewish scholars for guidance, but they denied the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to maintain the respect and income they were receiving from the masses, thus hiding the truth. That is, they overlook their religious duties, and the punishment for such behavior is grievous. It is being said, أولئك ما يأكلون في بطونهم إلى النار ولا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. They are filling nothing but fire into their bellies. On the day of resurrection, Allah will neither speak to them nor purify them, and they shall have painful punishment. Here we are told that those who sell the words of Allah for petty material gains are in fact filling their bellies with embers of fire. Previously, verse 173 mentioned the visible and sensory harm, whereas this verse mentions the internal haram. Wealth and profit obtained by concealing the word of Allah is just as forbidden as eating the wealth of orphans. In both of these cases, they are filling their bellies with hellfire. One who changes the religious rulings to gain the worldly benefits eats forbidden haram wealth, as if he fills his belly with burning coals. وَلَا يُكَلِّمْهُمُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَلَا يُزَكِّيهِمْ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. On the day of Qiyamah, Allah will neither speak to them nor purify them, and they shall have painful punishment. On the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not speak to those who hide the truth. Why? Because they hid the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world, even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had spoken to them for centuries, sent prophets among them, sent divine revelations which were Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words to Bani Israel. They changed this word, distorted it, then the prophethood was taken from Bani Israel and given to Bani Ismail. The last prophet will be from Bani Ismail, his name, the book that will be revealed on him. All of this information was already present in their book. They recognized all these signs as well as they recognized their sons. But these unfortunate people sold the word of Allah for petty material gains. They hid the signs of prophethood, and due to their disbelief, the privilege of speaking with Allah was taken away from them forever, not only in this world, but also in the hereafter. Allah will not speak to them. At one place it is mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not even look at them. He will forget about them after throwing them in the hellfire, and He will not purify them, because they had also forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their promises to Him in this world. They promise Allah to believe in the last prophet and to help him. They will not be purified, that is, their sins will not be forgiven after receiving punishment. A great number of Muslims will be thrown in the hellfire, as well as their sins will be forgiven after they receive their punishments. The hellfire will purify them, and then they will be sent to paradise. But some sins will not be cleansed by the hellfire, such as shirk, assigning partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and hiding the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hiding His words. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Surah Al-Ala, verse 14 states, He indeed shall be successful who purifies himself. Surah Ash-Shams, verse 10 states, وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّهَا. And he will indeed fail who corrupts it. Example, did not purify his heart, did not cleanse it of sins and every kind of evil, wicked deeds and moral diseases, and did not correct himself, then he is indeed a failure in this world and the hereafter, because they preferred this world over the hereafter, which is mentioned in the next verse. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us all to cleanse our hearts with this Quran in the best way possible. Ameen. Tafseer of verse number 175. Arabic verse. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى والعذاب بالمغفرة فما أصبرهم على النار. Translation. These are the kind of people who barter guidance for error and forgiveness for punishment. How stubborn are they to encounter hellfire? Tafseer. Here it is further said about the hiders of the truth and the sellers of deed that أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى. These are the kind of people who left guidance in this world and adopted misdirection. Had they not hid the truth and revealed the signs of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's prophethood to everyone, and had they been a role model for others by affirming their faith first, then surely they would have attained guidance in the world and success in the hereafter. Instead, they preferred misdirection over guidance by hiding the truth in the world. This is why in the hereafter, وَالْعَذَابَ بِالْمَغْفِرَةِ فَمَا أَصْبَرَهُمْ عَلَى النَّارِ. That is, instead of forgiveness, they preferred punishment. How stubborn are they to encounter hellfire? That is, astonishment is being shown on their audacity. How have they made such a big decision in this world by selling their religion? How will they bear the punishment in hell? Where will they muster up such courage and patience from? How did they agree to encounter hellfire? It is said with great wonder here that how did they become unconcerned with the hellfire while immersed in the splendor of the world, when they cannot even bear the difficulties in this world and get worried over small trials here, and then how can they make such fearless decisions in this world? Their courage is very astonishing. Tafseer of verse number 176. Arabic verse. ذلك بأن الله نزل الكتاب بالحق وإن الذين اختلفوا في الكتاب لفي شقاق بعيد. Translation. Their doom is because Allah has revealed the book with the truth. Surely those who seek causes of dispute in the book, the Quran, are in the extreme schism, divergence. Tafseer. Here we are being told that those people deserve the unbearable punishment because they did not support the truth in the world, even though ذلك بأن الله نزل الكتاب. And what kind of book was revealed? بالحق. That is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran with the truth. This is a truthful book revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was mentioned in the previous scriptures. They knew that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last prophet, yet denied due to their stubbornness. They hid the truth and argued about it. They hid the prophecies about the truth of the Quran that were in their books. They did not affirm their faith and created arguments and objections to deter others from believing in it as well. They began to dispute and argue and came down with harsh oppositions. Instead of helping the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they became bitter enemies. This is how they ended up in extreme divergence and stubbornness. One type of defiance is that a person says something in anger but regrets it after realizing the mistake and corrects it himself. Whereas their stubbornness was that why was the final book and prophet not from Bani Israel? Why was it given to the Ummi, unlettered people? They used to say that we are more qualified and rightly deserving of this position. Therefore, we will never believe in them. Why was prophethood given to Bani Ismail? This was their stubbornness. Recap. Let us find out what we learned from today's verses for our actions. Verse 172. We must only consume halal, pure and clean food, recite Bismillah before eating, and Alhamdulillah after finishing the food. We have to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and share our food with others and take care of the needy. We should eat with the intention that the energy derived from this food will be used in worship and obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and utilize it to help others. Verse 173, we learn that we should avoid consuming all sorts of haram and forbidden things and things that are given in the name of anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden us to consume haram, and the worship, supplications and charity of a person eating haram are not accepted. Verse 174 teaches us that we should not hide the knowledge of religion for the fear that others will attain the same position as us, and our importance will decline. Instead, any knowledge, be it religious or worldly, and any skill or a recipe that we know should be shared with others and not hidden. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not speak with us on the Day of Judgment, nor will our sins be forgiven, and we will be given a severe, never-ending punishment. If the knowledge is not shared, it's wasted. Therefore, even if we have a little bit of knowledge, we have to share it with others. Verse 175, we learn that we have to prefer guidance over misguidance. Therefore, to follow the path of guidance, we have to learn the knowledge of Quran and Hadith with a steadfast heart and remove all kinds of misguidance, shirk, innovations, and sins from our life. We have to correct ourselves and do regular self-assessment. Verse 176 teaches us that we have to gain the knowledge of the Quran ourselves and learn and understand every command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with meaning and explanation, and act according to it with a steadfast heart and firm belief, that we should not doubt and dissipate disobey the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shouldn't oppose the commands of Allah and obey every command without picking and choosing. Homework. Please note down today's homework. Question 1. Please state the translation, root words, and singular plural from today's verse. Question 2. From the following separate ثلاثي مجرد 3-letter words that are not enhanced, ثلاثي مزيد فيه 3-letter enhanced words, and رباعي مجرد 4-letter words that are not enhanced. كتم زلزل كلم خنزير اختلف أكل. Question 3. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم. In this verse, 3 manners of eating have been mentioned. Please explain these. Verse 172. Question 4. What things are forbidden in this verse? فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فلا إثم عليه. Under what conditions is eating haram allowed? Verse 173. Question 5. What did you learn for your action from verse 174? Question 6. What are the sins committed in this world by those who bargained for punishment and fire instead of forgiveness in the hereafter? Verse 175 and 176. I hope that you all are making notes to strengthen your knowledge and to teach others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant blessings in your time, knowledge and amal. Ameen. We have to learn the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the intention and passion that we have to act according to it and convey it to others so that they can change their behavior too and correct their mistakes. We have to inherit the legacy of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam so we can be in his company on the Day of Judgment. The inheritance of prophets is not money, but it is the knowledge of the religion. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to gather this inheritance. Take care of yourselves. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.